wow. But welcome to our M1, and we're doing it now on 2 days. We're doing it today and tomorrow, and we've got a 2-hour slot booked for that. And so we're hoping to get some practical work as well as we build our robots. Okay, so I'm going to ask, I see Casper is recording already. So Tumelo, would you like to welcome everybody here?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of today's session. Welcome. Welcome to M1 Unit 1 and 2. This is UNISA Science Engagement Center's live online learning sessions for the month of February. Today is the 14th, Tuesday, 2023. And for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, really appreciate you for joining us. And for those who are regular participants, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed today's session. And for those who will be watching the recording, thank you so much for taking time to watch the recording. And for our online participants, please note that all our email addresses will be on the chat box. And for any other questions, feel free to raise your hand, and then your microphone will be enabled in order for you to send or speak. But without taking time, I'd like to hand over to you, Dr. Hobbs. Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too, Tumelo, and Casper, and Anzani, and Cabello. Yeah, unfortunately, we'll have to we'll do our Valentine's celebrations tomorrow. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so let's start. Let's jump in. As Tumelo said, this is M1. And really, in the first session, we're going to introduce building. And Tumelo's got some robots there as well. And we really encourage you to build some robots, to actually build them. And then we're going to make the move. So when we go into schools where there is not necessarily science or maths, we just say we're going to make the robots move. But what we're actually doing is programming the robots to behave and to do all kinds of cool things. All right. All right, so I see our lobby is very busy, but hopefully that's all under control. That's excellent. Okay, so let's just kick off. And I've got an introduction. There's somebody unmuted there. Okay, is it?
I sorted out. Don't worry, Dr. House.
Okay. All right, so I thought, well, let's just start. I'm not sure how many have been at these sessions already, but I'm just going to do just a general introduction of what this is all about, and then we will continue with the building. So just to kind of set the tone, and I'm just asking that, can you see this?
Yes, Dr. House, thank you so much. We can see it.
Excellent. All right. So we are the UNISA Science Engagement Center, and the project is the I-SET Robotics project. And this really the focus of M1 is an introduction to practical robotics for coaches. And yeah, this is February 2023. So maybe in the archives, you'll go and look at this and say, oh, my word. Okay. So really welcome. This is what it looks like outside our science center in the lobby, and it's usually very loud. And we focus on 3 things. We focus on the engineering, then we do the programming, and then we have the 21st century skills. And really, you'll see in all the lessons that we present is always building, programming, and then how do we develop the 21st century skills of our learners. Okay, so for M1, that's this for today and tomorrow. We're doing the basics of building and programming, and then we're going to introduce the engineering design process, and then we're going to build passive attachments. And M2, we're going to more focus on sensors and gears and powered attachments. And then M3 is about strategy and risk and constraints. And I was asked the question, in what order must you do it? Well, that is the logical order. But after M3, you can go back to M1 if you like. That's also fine. And we are busy uploading our lesson plans for M1. And hopefully by tomorrow, when we do the unit 3 and 4, I can show you around the lesson plans as well for that. So it's really exciting times at the moment. All right, so let's jump off. So the robotics kits we are using, and Tumelo and I will show some of the robots that we have. I'm thinking Casper's also got 1 or 2 robots there with him. But we use the EV3 robotics kit, and the EV3 robotics kit has now been retired, but not discarded. So I love still the EV3. The new kit on the block is the Spike Prime robotics kit. And then I started on NXTs, and the NXT robotics kits are still usable if you can get any of those. So be assured that any robot kit is fine. And then you'll need a laptop, and then you can download the software, either EV3. So I'll show you that just now. There's two versions of EV3, either the EV3 lab version or the EV3 classroom version, and then the Spike Prime has got its own software, where the EV3 Classroom and the Spike Prime software are both Scratch-based programming languages. All right, so we'll do the building now, and then we'll do some programming after this, and I'm thinking we're going to have to go to my other laptop for that, and then tomorrow we're going to do some navigation, some passive attachments. We're going to have some real fun with that. Okay. As Tumelo rightly said, all our links will be posted eventually on the chat. These are live online learning sessions. The recordings are on the MOOC site and also on our YouTube channel, and we would love to have you visiting our YouTube channel. If there are any MOOC queries specifically, send I-SET at unisa.ac.za an email and ask Tumelo for assistance, and he's happy to arrange one-on-one sessions with you. Any other general queries, Ansani is happy to help you. And the content of these sessions are all available on the MOOC portal, and so Tumelo is also happy to help you, guide you around the massive open online courses on the UNISA MOOC portal. Just knowing that the site is 0 rated, and it contributes to our ongoing research and evaluation, and we'd love to have your feedback. Tumelo can very easily help you create accounts, logins, membership, and then you can join any site you like. Just knowing that we've currently got 3 of the 4 I-SET Robotics MOOCs. M4 is not published yet. Neither is the I-SET Robotics and Python, and we're going to introduce that in March. And then I-SET Robotics and Environmental Sciences, that hopefully will be published by the end of the month. Cyber safety should be up and running. And then for those who are teachers, you would have heard of the DBE 001 and DBE 002 MOOCs from the Department of Basic Education for the advancement of robotics. And I would highly encourage you to do these 2 MOOCs, not only for grade 1, 2, and 3 teachers, but it's a really good foundation for this topic of robotics and coding. That's the address for the MOOC portal, but if you Google it, you can find that as well. And the really cool thing is there's a Q&A session every Friday hosted by Tumelo. And if you would like the link for that, and that answers all the Q&A questions of the MOOC portal, you're welcome to ask for that link, and he's happy to share that with you. All right. So just for completion, I-SET Robotics also has short learning programs. They run per semester. So semester 1 is now closed, but semester 2 is open. There's 2 practicals in that order: components and pedagogy, and then problem solving, data and debugging. And there's 2 theory modules: fundamentals of robotics and then robotics for the future. You have to register through the UNISA Center for Lifelong Learning, again, separate from the formal qualifications. There's 15 weeks of learning, there's discussion sessions, there's 4 assignments, 1 exam, and there are cost implications and an online registration process. So just for completion of that. All right, so I'm going to pause here now and say that was the introduction. And if I stop sharing, there are no other questions at the moment, gentlemen and ladies.
So far, no questions on our side. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, Tumelo, if my laptop goes dead, you just need to send me a WhatsApp to say you're gone. All right.
All right, noted.
I see I've got 40 minutes left. All right, from the current slide. There we go. Here we go. All right. So, is that sharing? No.
We'll let you know once it appears.
Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, my giddy aunt.
In the meantime, while you're trying to share your screen, to our online participants, if you have any questions related to the first slide that Dr. Hoos was sharing, please let us know. For example, if you would like to enroll for one of the short courses that she mentioned, please raise your hand or just write on the chat box so that we can assist you. Otherwise, we can see your slide, Dr. Hoos. Over to you.
Excellent. All right. So thank you very much. All right. So here we are building robots. And really what we were trying to do in this session as a team is really to show you how to build a robot. It's like a mammoth task ahead, and we want to hopefully break it down into the parts and say, this is how you build a robot. Okay, we have some really cool building instructions, and that is to support developing a frame of reference for learners who have not built robots before. We've got to start somewhere. All right, so just by way of detail, the robotics kits, we use an either EV3 kit, and Tamelo's going to show you that just now. And then we either use EV3 lab programming or we use EV3 classroom programming. And then the Spike Prime has got its own Spike Prime programming. So you choose which kit you want, and I'll show you now what the difference is. You can see it very clearly. But the cool thing is, in this building, in this community, building instructions and resources are shared and used. And so what I want to really encourage you to do is not just to be a consumer, but also to contribute back to this. All right. So if you have an EV3 robotics kit, you would Google build to build a Riley rover. You get building instructions. For the Spike Prime, you build the driving base. And then just my favorite is Builder Do 35. And he's got a YouTube channel, and he's also got a website, and he loves sharing his knowledge. And so I'd really highly recommend that you go and look around there for building instructions. All right. So what is a robot? And so if I ask you, each of you, what is a robot? What do you see as a robot? And this picture is kind of just a very easy way to kind of figure out. So a robot can either be mobile, which means it moves, or it's fixed and then it has an arm that moves around, or it has some part of it that moves around. And if it's mobile, it either moves in the sea, or it moves on land, or it flies. And so if I ask you, okay, give me an example, the aquatic ones are the ones that are going under the sea and cleaning out the waters. On the plastics, the terrestrials, you could think of maybe the one that's on Mars. That's a terrestrial robot, but there are lots of other examples. And then the airborne ones are obviously your drones. On terrestrial, well, how does it move? And so that comes down to navigation. The aquatic, you would also say, how does it move? And an aquatic robot, to move, you would think swims, or like an eel. And the airborne, you would imagine some kind of flying or propeller kind of thing. But let's focus on terrestrial. And so we either get wheeled and legged, where things walk. And for now, we're going to really focus on building a wheeled terrestrial mobile robot. And by M2 and M3, we will investigate others. All right. So I decided to kind of just pause a minute and say, what are the 10 most amazing robots in 2023? This is where we are. And although the robots are out there, it is good for you, maybe in your class situation, to say, what are the robots doing? Okay, analyze what are the robots doing? What can they do? And it would be a really good class just to have with your learners to say, let's look at all these robots. They really are amazing. And how then do we prepare our learners to kind of think in those lines, to know what the robot's doing and maybe build on that? All right. We need to prepare our learners to think differently. And so what we're doing now is saying, how do these robots link to our robotics education that we're installing now in our learners? All right. So I really encourage you to go and have a look at this this evening, if you're not load shedded, but carry on. So here's some really cool robots that are out there, and it's not just education. These are prototype robots that are out there, and the Rob Bear is an interesting one. It's to help elderly people out of bed to a wheelchair. All right, so you can see where this is going. That is really an amazing thing, that it's pulling the people out. The other one that might appeal to you is the ocean robot. We have no idea what lurks under the sea, and then we've got this high-tech ocean robot that goes all the way underneath and explores the depths of the oceans. Okay, so all these are different implementations that are now happening, and our role and your role as coaches is to prepare our learners to say, this is what's out there and this is where we're going. And so it's really an exciting, and I just want to, if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Who is going to create this awareness amongst your learners for 2023 of what is out there? We want our learners to thrive in their future, not our future, in their future. All right. So really, that's a really cool way to go out and go, a good kind of opening to say, why do we bother with robotics and coding? We want our learners to think kind of beyond what they know. All right. But back to 2023, we've got one kit. You've either got an EV3 kit or you've got a Spike Prime kit, and you can build lots of designs. And I know there are building instructions. You can follow the building instructions, but there comes a point where your learners must be pushed beyond the building instructions. They must modify the designs. They must build things and design things out of their head, out of their imagination, right? And that is where the 21st century skills come in. It's really cool, but a less intimidating way to start is to say, let's build from building instructions. Let's just build from building instructions, and then we'll take it one step ahead. Okay, so we have the basics of robotics is the engineering and the programming, and then tomorrow we start the 21st century skills, and then pushing the boundaries of designing robots. All right, so if you go to M1, I-SET Robotics M1 portal on the MOOC space, you will find under syllabus, you will find an overview document. And the overview document gives you an overview of each of the 4 units included in M1. All right. Yes, the focus is on wheeled robots, but you need to kind of give some examples of different kinds of robots and describe their functions. So you'll have a flat robot that's got to go quickly, and then a tall robot that's got to fit between buildings. Or so each of the robots have maybe different designs and then different functions as well. Okay, and then you can adapt the robot. You either make it smaller, taller, longer, put an arm on it. But every robot is built from components, and the components are axles, wheels, motors, sensors, gears. So these are the components that you use to then build your robot. Okay, but you obviously have to ensure that your robot is sturdy. So if you pick it up, it doesn't fall apart. Okay, and most of the robots that we are building, the source of power is usually a battery pack, and so that's also part. There's somebody unmuted. That's also part of the power of the robot. If your robot is not not fully charged, it's not going to do what you want it to do. Okay, and then your learners need to be able to describe how the robot moves without referring to thingies and other thingies. They must have proper vocabulary. Okay, so the objectives for Unit 1 is to say you need to build different wheeled robots. And so here, this is the Constructopedia, and there's not one yet for the Spike Prime, but I'm sure we can start building things. I'm looking at my team to say, can we build some really cool designs? But basically you have a wheeled robot, and then you have a different wheeled robot, and it's good for your learners to look at the two and say, okay, which one can be used for what purpose? It's not necessarily that one is better than the other one. The cool thing about the Constructopedia designs is that it is just the design, and then you still need to add the wheels and the wires to get a robot to actually move. All right, so that then you can get where the motors are below the brain, you can have the motors on the side of the brain, you can have it whether it's back. So each of these, there's an example, and what I'm just thinking now is if you go to the Constructopedia, you'll see the pictures. And I know Casper did draw some of those pictures, and we're going to show them just now. All right, so those are there we go. So those are your objectives. So now you've got activity. So you've got to do, and that's part of your assessment. You've got to actually build. You've actually got to build them. It's no use saying, okay, well, I can do it. All right. So this chassis looks very different to this chassis. All right. So this one is wide and the other one is underneath, and maybe you turned it around. And it's good for learners to understand that there's not only one design and there's many ways to do it. All right. The chassis with the track tires, it needs a whole different design, and maybe you can do that. And then a non-wheeled robot just in the end to say, okay, so how do we build a robot that doesn't actually move? All right, that maybe is just an arm. And so there are your 7 activities that you need to complete. All right, so just if you want to see what the difference is, I think the difference is beyond just the color. So the EV3 is grays and whites, and whereas the Spike Prime is the oh so colorful yellows and turquoises and cerise colors. Very different designs, but also just components that you use to build your robot. Okay, so there's the 2 robotics kits, depending on what you use. And it's important to remember that these kits are forgiving. Okay, so if something doesn't fit, you just dismantle it and you rebuild it. There's no record of a wrong build, which is really cool. It encourages learning and exploring. Okay, just in terms of ports, every brain has ports, and so this just how it connects. You usually put the larger motors in port B and C, and the smaller motor, or the medium motor, into port A or D. And then your ultrasonic always goes in port 1 because that is input, right? It's input, process, and output. So your input is from your senses, your processing is in your brain, and your output is then making the wheels turn. All right, and we'll get to sensors in M2 very quickly. All right, so we've got a touch sensor, we've got a color, there's the touch sensor, the gyro sensor, the color sensor, and the ultrasonic sensor. So that's how you connect it up. And I bet you that's at least one of your teams is going to say, ma'am, the robot's not working, and the robot's not working because the wires are not connected. All right. Okay, that is the brain, just as an important part. Okay. Oh, and the battery must be fully charged. Those are the input ports. That's the touch sensor. I think we've got all these arrows there. I've told you about the output ports, so I've told you about everything. All right. For the EV3, for the Spike Prime, it's a bit more colorful. Then that's your brain. That is the large motors, and those are the medium motors. And you can see the sensors are also very similar. I do want to encourage you to learn the terminology and the vocabulary. It pains me when learners come in and say, it's a thingy and another thingy, and then we make the thingy, and it's just a thingy. Not okay. All right. Learners need to know what the terminology is, and so they must be able to say it's an ultrasonic sensor, it's a large motor, it's a wire, it's a wheel, it's an axle. And so when you listen to learners explaining the building and design of a robot, how they've built it, they need to have the right vocabulary. All right. But the build focus is all about the robotics part and the engineering part. And so many of the lessons are focused on input, process, and output. At all times, your learner needs to be able to say, where's input, where's processing, and where's output. All right. Similarly, the wheels are always in front, so there's traction. All right. So the wheels go forward, there's traction. But the friction, usually the wheels behind don't have tires because that's too much friction. But traction, you've got to have your driving wheels going forward. Okay. Center of gravity and weight distribution. If you have a very heavy robot, it ain't going to move efficiently. And so your learners need to consider center of gravity, whether it falls over. And these are all the components or the concepts that you can ask your learners about: axles, wheels, and pulleys. When we get to gearing with power and transmission and the rolling resistance, mechanical efficiency, and we get to engineering design process. So these are all terminology words that your learners from grade 4 should be comfortable with. They should be able to explain that to any expert. Okay, so where do you start? Well, the cool thing is everything is available online. So there's a whole lot of building instructions. See, this thing is in the way here. There's actually, I'll go and fix that. So the Spike Prime building instruction, there's a whole lot of building instructions. It's usually on Prime lessons for the EV3, for the Spike Prime, and EV3 lessons for the EV3. You just go to EV3 lessons and you can get a whole lot of building instructions. And somebody mentioned yesterday they downloaded the Spike Prime app and they found a whole lot of lesson plans and teaching resources. It's all there. And we'd love to have feedback. So maybe by tomorrow, if you can come back to the session and tell us what you found, what's some really cool stuff that you found, that'll be great. Okay. All right. And there are really more. So you can see all these different building instructions, all the different types of building instructions. Yeah, I really encourage you to get your learners to build one design and then to dismantle that robot and build another one, and then to build that and build another one. And each of them, and give them the design so they understand how to build robots. And then when they're comfortable with that, then we change the direction and say, okay, so now we modify this one. All right. And if there are any favorite building instructions that you have, please do share it with us. All right. So how do you read building instructions? Well, this is step number 3 of the Riley rover. You take an axle, there we go, an axle of length 4. And how do you know it's length 4? You hold it up against a beam, and if it's 4 holes, then it's a 4 axle. All right. Then you need a connector. There's the red connector between the axles. And there's another connector where it's got an axle and a frictionless part to that side. Okay, what do you do with it? You push that one into there, and you push that one into there, and then you put that one into there. So it's all explained. However, I caution you that not all learners understand from this 2-dimensional to building a 3-dimensional robot. So that is also part of the 21st century skills that they learn. All right, you need to be able to read building instructions, and trust me, the learners don't always read the building instructions. They will just make it up as they go, and then you don't have the finished product. If it's not right, you unbuild everything and you rebuild again. So it's tough. It's tough. That's step number 3, Those are the components we need. So there's the axle, the connector, and the pin. And there we know exactly what we have to do with it. All right, so here, if you read it, this is step number 22. You take one of these pieces, you turn your robot upside down, and you put it onto there. It's all very clear. All right, so there's step number 22. You turn it upside down and you turn the robot upside down. All right, so some of the building instructions are pictures and printable pictures, although I don't think you should print anymore. I think leave it on the computer. There are also building instructions that are as a video. Just don't play it too fast for your learners, or maybe let them see the whole video and then step by step. What they've done here is they've also laid out all the pieces that you'll need beforehand, and then it's just a matter of putting it together. For teamwork, this works. You get a whole lot of kids together and you say, these are the pieces we need, and together the team finds the pieces, and then you have one learner who's watching the instructions, the other one fetching the pieces, and the other one putting it together, or something like that. You do need to encourage teamwork. Okay, good news. There's a thing called classroom activities for the busy teacher. There's a Spike Prime version as well. For the EV3, there's also one that goes out. And so there's a whole lot of different tools, accessories, attachments that you can build on your robot. It's all to make your life as the busy teacher much easier. All right. So what are we trying to do by building robots? And following instructions is definitely to encourage this 3D thinking and to follow instructions. That doesn't come easily. And then we have to learn the vocabulary. Is it an attachment? Is it a wheel? Is it a sensor? Is it a brain? Is it a wire? We'll unpack the problem solving and the teamwork further in Unit 3. But the important thing is that they together build the robot. Please do not let any learner go solo to build the robot. It's not okay. Don't let one learner take the robot home and say, I'll build it at home. No. We have to build it together. And maybe you can also say, you do all the sensors, you do all the attachments, you build the chassis, the main frame, you put the wheels on, but it's important that they work together on their robot. Okay, now, so I have a picture here. This is during one of the competitions, and so what is wrong with it? Well, the brain is busy charging, balanced on a laptop, and that is on a wire, and as you can see, the wire goes through here, and I don't know if you can see it, but the wire goes all the way there. Can you imagine if somebody over there pulls the wire, then that brain falls, and that's a couple of $1,000 down the drain. And this laptop, if this laptop falls, that's also a couple of $1,000 down the drain. Here is total chaos that learners have no idea what pieces they have. Yeah, and so maybe the challenge is send me pictures of your robots, kids. Send me it needs to be organized. It needs to be packed and organized. There's really no fun with incomplete kits. You cannot build a robot with one wheel, all right? And so I'm really appealing to, especially the new coaches, you need to leave enough time for cleanup. It is not your responsibility, and learners cannot go home early, all right? They need, as a team, to clean up, and this is not acceptable. It's not their kits. It doesn't belong to them. And this just drives into losing pieces, having incomplete kits, and that's just not cool, all right? So maybe one of our homeworks is to send me pictures of what your robotics kits looks like. Yes, it gets a little bit disorganized during the lesson, but it has to be sorted and neat. So just by way of these elastics, they are allowed on your robot, but there's only a limited number of them. They lie around and they fall away. Then we don't have, and so we can't build really cool attachments. Okay, please not this. Please not this. No, it's not good. It's not good for anybody. All right. And then other thing about teamwork is that we need to always work together. You need to encourage working together. So I have a whole lot of these trays. We put all the pieces on here. We build it together. We build in groups. For this lesson, we had some older girls in the back there, and they were helping me. But they were also, by example, they were showing the learners how to do it. Work on trays. Keep the floor clear of pieces that just get lost. Keep the boxes sorted, and you regularly need to clean the kits and sort it and make sure that there are not pieces missing. And you as the coach are responsible for that. And you need to transfer that responsibility to your learners. It's not okay to have kits going missing. It's just not okay. All right. Your robot brain, however, does need to be charged. And so I'm encouraging you as kind of responsibility is to get one or two of your class to take responsibility, to come in the morning of before your robotics class and to put all the brains on charge. But they also, so you can have a, the brain monitor or something like that. They also need to remove all the projects. You need to clear the brain regularly. You make sure that the wires are connecting correctly. And there's a cool lesson there when things go wrong. I haven't found one for EV3 yet, but there's a lot of for Spike Prime. But when EV3, I think we're busy building up a list. All right, that is about building robots. And I'm going to stop for a minute. And I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to ask Tamelo if he's got some building. I've got some robots that I've built, and so what I also want to encourage you is not to go and look at the most difficult robots. It's really discouraging for the learners to say we can never get there. But you need to create, like, we're working towards that. So this is a Spike Prime robot. You can see it's a little bit more complex. It's been modified already. So this was modified. It was just a normal Spike Prime driver base, and it has been modified already. And we're going to make it move just now. All right. Jamela, do you have any robots there with you?
Yes, I do have a robot. I was busy answering an email from Nicholas.
Oh, okay.
So before I show you the email I'm getting, sorry, before I show you the robot, I've been answering some few emails regarding the MOOC, and Nicholas mentioned that he cannot see the MOOC site. So I was trying to say to Nicholas, kindly please share a screenshot of your screen so that I can see what's happening there. Otherwise, here's my robot.
Okay,
this is the basic type of a robot.
Awesome. So that's a little Riley rover. That's where we start. Nice and simple wheels, and that's what we're going to be navigating with just now. So we're going to program that to move. It's a straightforward robot. It's got a balance at the back. It's got wires. The ports are connected. It's from kit Amber L, which is why it's got an L on it. Our kits are all organized and sorted, and I don't know whether the battery charged despite load shedding, but you can see if you go to Riley Rover's building instruction, straightforward building instructions. There we go. And so you can see also there's two output ports, B and C, connected to the motors. Thanks to Miller. There we go. So we've only got output. All right, there's B and C, and it's connected to the wires, and it has to actually click in when you connect it. Oh, there we go. You feel like an air hostess. Click it in. There we go. There we go. Very gentle. You see, Tomato also pulls down the little thing. You don't yank it out. You actually click it in and click it out. So there's your really basic Riley rover, and we can do lots of work. Thank you, Tomato. Awesome. Do you have any other robots there?
Just hold on.
Okay. Okay. So Casper's got the next level. Hi, Casper.
Yes.
There we go. So Casper's got another one, and so that's the winning design. It has a frame around it, okay, and it has a frame around it because we attach things with pins on the side. But a little bit modified. Mozart. This robot was built in 2013 by a bunch of really cool kids who are now fifth year university. So it's like wow. All right. So there is Mozart. You can see the robot looks a little bit different. The brain is the NXT kit, still functional, still ready to use, but you can see there's some serious gearing there. And so that is the kind of the next level where we take it from the Riley rover, then we take it up to the frame around it. Thank you, Casper. Okay, and now Tomelo's just showing off. So this is just a snake. You can see it doesn't have wheels, but it does move. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's got ultrasonics in front. So it's got no wheels. You know, a snake snithers, but it can move its neck like that with the ultrasonic. So if you put your hand in front of it, it's going to reach out and I don't know, try to bite you or try to whatever to you. Oh, he's trying to. You're muted still, Tamela. All right. So as well as this is, there we go. It's from building instructions. All right. And the really important thing is that your learners have a building a frame of reference for building. All right, and this whole thing about building. So just, oops, thank you very much. The whole thing about building is creating a frame of reference. So I'll show you. This is after 6 years of building robots. I cannot see the robots clearly. Okay, I think we'll make pictures available. Thanks for that. So this, I don't know whether you can see this. This is another one. This robot is Mario. Can you see it? So it looks very different.
Yes,
oh, there we go. There goes the snake. The snake alive and well. There we go. There we go.
Can you even hear the sound? Okie dokes.
Thank you, Tomelo. It's a really cool snake, and if you put it at your door, it'll really create some interest in robotics. All right, right. So you can see there is a kind of progress in how to build robots. We want to aim to get learners to design their own robots. So this is a totally designed robot by learners who've been building for about, since 2013. So this is Mario, a very different design, but the building instructions for this Mario are not available because the learners have taken a little bit from here, a little bit from there, from all the learning they've done. They've kind of got these different building ideas. And so that's what we want to aim for with building instructions. Okay, but you need to start somewhere. So what I'm really asking you to do is to at least just start with the Riley rover that Tumelo showed you. Just a straightforward Riley rover and a straightforward driving base, and then you build from there. All right. Just put my robots back in the box. Okay. Anybody got any questions about building robots? How do we build? Anybody? Are there any questions on the chat?
So far,
Tumelo, any questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that on the chats, we've noted that we've got some few questions regarding MOOCs.
Okay.
We have some few participants would like to see.
Okay.
And I see Kabelo saying that someone is saying that they cannot see the robots clearly. I think they'll have to see the recordings, perhaps their network, because on our side everything is clear. So I don't know whether can I share the MOOC.
Yes, please do. Please do. I'm just going to go out. I'm just changing laptops quickly because we're in load shedding and this laptop is officially dead.
All right.
All right. You show them the MOOCs portal and I'll join on the other laptop. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. I'll see you now. Okay.
Thank you. And okay, let me first start with sharing the MOOC portal, then we'll answer other questions as well. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Let me share my screen. All right. So my screen is shared. And what you simply do, you go to your Google tab and you simply click on MOOC UNISA. So when you click on MOOC UNISA, you go to New Account. Just there on MOOC Gateway, welcome to UNISA, click on New Account. When you click on New Account, this is the first page that you'll see. So here you put in your user ID. For example, if your name is Kabelo, you can simply say Kabelo123. And then you put in your name, your surname, as well as your email address, and create a password, then verify your password. Please note that after filling in all the empty boxes, take a picture in case you might forget your user ID or your password. And please note that your email address that you have signed in with is the email address that we are going to send in your completed certificate. So once you have completed all of that, we encourage you to then log in. After logging in there, This is the first page that you'll see. I don't know whether is Nicholas in the session. If Nicholas is in the session, kindly please raise your hand and then I'll attend to you.
Yes,
and then this. Yes. So is this the first page that you see? Because I saw your email right now. You were saying that your page is blank.
Yeah, it's fine. I can see. Let me follow what you are doing there, and then I will let you know.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah. So this is the first page after you have registered on the new user ID. Once you are done, you go to membership. So membership is found underneath the UNISA logo. So when you simply click on the membership tab, you go to joinable sites, and joinable sites, this is where it's found. You click on joinable sites. Once you click on joinable sites, you will look for I-SET Robotics M1 2023. So you'll slide down looking for I-SET Robotics M1 2023. Once you find it, you will click on join. And after joining it, it will take you to the same page. But now, this is where you come to on my current sites. So when you click on my current sites, I-SET Robotics M1 2023 will be found here. So these are some of the short courses that I've enrolled for. That's why they're appearing here. And after you found your I-SET Robotics M1 2023, you click on it. This is the home page that you'll see. So on the home page here, underneath the UNISA logo, this is where you find the overview whereby you get some introduction regarding the course. And then there's honor code and syllabus. So the syllabus tab is what Dr. Hols was talking about earlier on this afternoon. So on the syllabus tab, on the M1 overview document, this is where you get the M1 overview document, as well as your M1 assessment templates, as well as the schedule for this month of February, as well as some information regarding UNISA Science Engagement Center. And then when you go and click on announcements, this is where you will get your regular announcements regarding I-SET Robotics M1 2023. And then this is where you get different information on Unit 0, which is the overview. So I see there is still loading. But everything should be clear after that, because what I normally encourage people is that after enrolling for this MOOC, just simply take it step by step. So as you've seen that I've went step by step, now I'm on overview. So here, this is where they talk about why you need this MOOC and what you will need for this MOOC, which is exactly what we were showing you, which is the EV3 or the Spark Prime. And then for those of you who are around Joburg, who are near Florida Science Campus and would like to make use of our science campus, please feel free to send us an email regarding the making use of the robotics kit. I know that tomorrow we've got some few students that are coming into the Science Center to complete some of their assessments. So you are also welcome. But this is done per appointment. And our email address is iset@unisa.ac.za. I'll also send it on the chat box. And then once you are completed with all these 4 units, there's a mini portfolio that you need to submit. After submitting your portfolio, voila, you got your I-SET Robotics M1 2023 certificate. And then if you would like to enroll, for example, for the DBE 001 or 002, same process. On the overview document, simply click on membership. So membership is found every time. So all these tabs here that you see are normally found after logging in. So this will be your general homepage. And if you need any site, like I mentioned, you'll find it on the membership tab. Under the membership tab, you go to joinable sites, looking for DBE 001 or DBE 002. As you slide down, you'll find it. As you find it, you click on join. When you click on join, you go to my current sites and then you click on it. For example, let me go to DBE 002 Coding and Robotics. When you go there, this will be your general homepage. On this general homepage, this is where they get to introduce this MOOC course, which is a foundational coding and robotics skills for educators from grade R to 3. And the great part about this MOOC is that when you click on the syllabus tab, this is what you'll find. You'll find lesson plans. So the lesson plans will be from grade R up until grade 3. So each grade has its own lessons plans. For example, grade R has term 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as grade 1, grade 2, term 1, 2, 3, 4, grade 3 as well. And then you get different types of activities. So in order for you to be able to open them, you simply click on the tab, and these are the lesson plans that you'll get. So without confusing you further, let me just log out and take questions. Do you have any questions from our online participants regarding the MOOCs? Nicholas, are you well?
Thanks. Yeah, I'm sorted. I'm sure I'll get there. Yeah, it's straightforward. Thanks a lot.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. And I see you've got a hand. Kindly please unmute yourself. Dwight. Kindly please unmute yourself.
Hi, Tumelo.
Yes, how's it, Alpheus?
I am good.
Sure.
I'm just checking on the MOOC. Last year, I was unable to complete all those until to the portfolio. I was unable to do the portfolio. So I'm just checking as to whether this year can I proceed until to the portfolio with the DBE 002.
Yes, definitely you can proceed, but please ensure that when you proceed, the units are still the same, because they might change as time goes. But please continue. Yes.
Okay, no, we are welcome. I'll check. I will check.
Sure.
Thanks.
No, you are welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Alpheus. And we have another hand as well from Ketlo. My boy Ketlo.
Hello.
Am I pronouncing your name properly?
You should be able to pronounce certain names. It's Mabui Ketlo.
Yeah, man, he's talking English too much. Mabui Ketlo. That's keys.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's nice now. Yeah, you have that accent, I know. I was going to ask you to please, when you were showing us how to navigate through the MOOC, I just registered myself at that, like exactly at the time you were talking. So I missed out on some information because I'm like a new user of this MOOC. And from there, how do I start the whole thing? How do I navigate?
So, well, what is it that you would like to navigate to, Ausi?
Like, I've registered. How do I get to the M1, to the DB?
Okay.
Like,
so I assume that this is your homepage, right?
Yes.
So as I've mentioned before, underneath the UNISA logo, these are the different tabs that you will see.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then you will simply click on membership. You mentioned that you would like to register for DBE, right?
Yes.
So
but
what
when
you do,
say I set my current site, it was empty. There was nothing.
Yes, because you are currently not enrolled for any site. That's why I'm glad that you raised that part. That's why I even highlighted this part written joinable sites. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see
So
it.
when you click on joinable sites, what you do, you simply slide down looking for DBE 001.
Oh, okay. I
Yes.
see now.
Yes.
Now I see.
That's it.
Wow, thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
right.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Any other questions regarding the MOOCs? I'm happy that we're progressing today. This is lovely. From the chats, anyone, please feel free. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Yeah? Because
Hi,
it will
Tamila.
come. Yes.
Hi. I'm just looking here. They are looking for building instructions for the Spike Prime building instructions.
Okay.
The Spike Prime building instructions are not links. I'm not sure what that means. But you can build EV3 and Spike Prime virtually. Casper did show you that with the showing the studio. Bricklink
Yes.
Studio.
So I think after this session, I'll give Casper an opportunity just to refresh our minds if
that'll be cool.
Time allows. All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tamila. Cool.
You're welcome. I see another hand from Angie. Go ahead, Angie.
How's it? I just
All
wanted
is
to
well,
double
thank you.
check it. I did the M1 last year and completed that, but I see this year the M2, there's no assignments or questions or anything there. Will that be uploaded later, or have I missed a step in the process?
I'll go and check, Angie. I think it was up there, but I'll go and check for you tonight. Okay.
Oh yeah, it still has to be uploaded. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, it just has to be made visible. It is there. Sorry, I just need to make it visible.
All
Sorry.
right. All right. Thank you, Dr. Hos, and thank you, Angie.